Cody. You get bonus points if you know where that's from. Like major bonus points if you know what that's from. And you also told your age. Oh, man. Wow. I must admit, I'm feeling a little bit extra sexy tonight. Well, not because of the lingerie that I've got on underneath my clothes, but because I am sporting a Smoant Ranker with an OG Limitless RDTA. I love this puppy. This thing, oh, I love it. I've got a black one because I'm not racist. I've got a black one, and man, that they're identical, and they're awesome mods. The black one's been kind of half beat to hell. It still works okay, but the battery door don't like to stay shut. I have to use a piece of tape to kind of help it out. So I'm going to dig up the black one. I don't know where I've got it at, but I've been vaping for like all these years, and I have never set up two mods at the same time so that I can be sporting two different flavors as I choose. Well, I'm on my last tank of Evil's apple juice before I have to switch flavors on that, which strawberry milk will go in here. So I thought, you know what? This thing has been sitting down there alongside my computer tower for like months, and I mean months and months. And so I'm like, I'm grabbing that thing, throwing a set of batteries in it, cleaning out the tank, re-wicking it. So I've got a pink burst, starburst pink. I have that flavor in here, and man, this thing's incredible. And the flavor, and it doesn't make you cough. It's like perfect. So anyway, I've had this for a while. When I bought the mod, I bought two of them. I bought a black one and I bought a camo one. And I don't think you can get them anymore. That's like the OG Limitless RDTAs. Not going to find them anymore either. The closest thing you'll find is what I have on this mod, which is advertised as a Limitless RDTA, but this is the newer version of it. Not even near. This is version 1 of the original. There's a version 2 of the original as well, and then they started making these things, which is like a generic of it, but it's the same company makes them, so they kind of really cheapened out. This thing is just badass with a capital B. It's just awesome, the flavor. Anyway, I'll put away my heart on. I don't know. I just like good flavor. So, anywho, not that that's real super exciting. The other thing is, though, and you may find this a little bit more exciting than my vaping. I had been messing with that heater today, that diesel heater. And so if I leave it run non-stop, it gets warm in here, even on all the way low. And the only time that that's not going to be the case is if it's down like 20 degrees, then that thing might keep up on low without overheating us, Well, anyway, it's got this timer function on it that I can set it to run for a set amount of time and then shut off. So that's what I've been doing today. And on average, what I've been doing is setting it to run for 30 minutes, and then I hear it kick off. I hear it shut off. And then I set a timer for like 45 minutes, and I'll wait 45 minutes, and I'll go back in there. I'll set the timer back up for 30 minutes and turn it on. So that's cutting half of the fuel usage in my waking period, which is more than 12 hours. So I actually have, this is so awesome, to give you an idea how efficient this is and how much cheaper that we can heat our home with diesel fuel, even with the insane cost of it right now. This is going to blow your mind. So, and this is all verified numbers. This is incredible. So, right now it's at 1.9 hertz. That's where it's setting right this moment. I'm going to double check. I want to make sure that I'm accurate. Yeah, 1.9 hertz is where it's currently sitting at. So we'll use that. So I'll put in 1.9, and you want to do that times 60. Okay, and that's going to give you per minute. Okay, so you want to do it times 60 again. That'd be per hour. Now, what are we figuring out there? How many pumps? How many times that pump pumps in 1 hour? So we're going to get that by it's set at 1.9 per second hertz. So 1.9 hertz. You want to multiply that times 60, so you've got 60 seconds, that's a minute. And then you want to multiply it again by 60 because there's 60 minutes in an hour. Now we've got an hour. And if I were to hit the equal sign, it would tell us exactly how many pumps that we've had. However, I don't want to hit the equal sign because we got one more equation to throw in there. What that equation is the pump, how much fuel it disperses each time it pumps. So we're going to multiply once again, and this time we're going to do 0.022 because every time it pumps, it's 0.022 milliliters. Tiny, tiny amount. Now, we are going to hit equal, and we're going to get this number here, 150.48. Now, that's how many milliliters per hour that is running, okay? So, we're going to go ahead and just say it's running nonstop, so we're going to do that times 24. And we come up with 3,611.52. So if we were to ask, oops, 1 second here. Got to drag this back in. I didn't mean to pop it out. Okay. So, how many milliliters are in a gallon? Well, this says 3,785.41. So, at 1.9, you're going to be using just over 1 gallon of fuel in a 24-hour period. So, if you say take, say 16 hours. We'll give you 8 hours of sleep. 16 hours. If you can cut that 16 hours of the day, if you can cut the time that it is on in half, you're only going to be using probably around a half a gallon of fuel, maybe a smidge more. So we're looking at being able to heat our home this winter on just a half a gallon or just a smidge more a day. That is awesome. That is awesome. So at current prices, let's say $3 a day. $3 a day. That's not bad in comparison to what it would cost us to use the heaters, the electric heaters. So, I just wanted to pass that along because it's even more economical than what I had previously stated. Because like I said, it's just a matter of going in there whenever, after, 45 minutes or so after it shuts off, going in there, resetting the timer, and hitting go. So, I'm not going to complain about that heater one bit. In fact, I'm getting kind of hot now. So, but it's due to shut off. I started it right before the show, but it probably shut off about 25 after or so. It'll shut off. So, yep, and I'll just turn it all the way down to 1.6 because I retuned it today. I can go down to 1.6, and I'll turn it down to 1.6 when we go to bed, and it'll just run all night on 1.6, and that I know comes out to be a less than a gallon a day if you run it on 1.6 hertz all day long, 24 hours. It's less than a gallon. So that's how I know we'll be able to do it for about a half a gallon, because I'll be turning it down at night anyway. So, I love it when I can find ways to save money, especially when it comes to energy. I don't like paying the power companies. All right, had another headline I had to get out real quick. Don't really have anything of particular topic to talk about tonight. I've only got 2 tabs open just because as I was going through the Twitter articles that I put out today, I'm like, really, what am I going to talk about? And I know there's plenty to talk about, but whatever, you know. What's that? No, you don't need to know calculus to operate the heater. You just, it depends if you want to figure out how much fuel you're going to need. But if that ain't a concern, I'm just, like I've said before, I'm not a fan of competing with other people. And the reason why is because it often causes problems, and so I just abstain. I'm just challenging myself. My challenge is to see how cheap that I can heat this place. In my entire life, everything I do, I try to challenge myself to see how cheap I can do it. And I don't mean cheap as in how good of a job. I mean cheap as in what it cost me to do it. And, that's like I mentioned in my vaping. I've got that. I pay maybe $60 a year to vape. That's a drop in the hat compared to smoking cigarettes. So $60 a year pays my vaping costs. And I can't beat that. So we make our own laundry detergent. That doesn't cost us very much. Any way I can find that I can cut costs, I don't care if I got to throw a little bit of elbow grease in. That's no big deal. And I'll just make it myself, do it myself, or what have you. It's how I've lived my life. My dad told me early on that, son, don't pay somebody else to do something that you can learn how to do yourself. That's foolish. And my dad wasn't one that just said it. I mean, he did it. That is what he did. He repaired all of his own stuff. I remember him setting me down in the utility room, had the dryer drug out from the wall and unplugged, of course. And I'm a kid. I was probably early teens at the time, maybe 13, 14, maybe even 12. I can remember him showing me at that age how to repair a heating element on a dryer if it breaks on you and you have no option of going and getting another one right away. He showed me how you could take a nut, a bolt, and 2 washers, and you could reconnect the 2 sides of the heating element in the heater, or in the dryer, and put it back together. And he's like, whenever I can manage to get that heating element, I'll get it ordered from. He always went with what was it called, Marconi or something like that, out of St. Louis when he'd get parts like that, and Marconi, that's what it was called, Marconi, and he never did. He never bought that damn thing. I don't think he ever intended to buy that damn thing. Because that was my dad. He would just keep piecing stuff together and keep it going and keep it going. And I learned a lot from him when it came to that. And so that's why I do the same thing. Hertz is like how many times something switches in a second. So, your AC output has 60 hertz. So that means that, is that per second? Yeah, I guess it would be. So 60 times per second, your AC current switches back and forth. Okay, 60 cycles, I should say, per second, which means there's actually 120 switches, if I'm not, you know what I'm saying. There's 60 cycles in a second on a hertz. Pretty sure. That is so messed up that I'm questioning myself on that. That really tells me. Unit of frequency. Yeah, equal to 1 cycle per second. Okay, I didn't want to be putting out there misinformation. I'm like, wait a minute, so I wanted to double check myself. Yes, it is a set per second, but it's how many cycles per second. And of course, a cycle usually consists of 2. So, it is frequency. Hertz is frequency. That's hertz is how you measure frequency. So, Yep. Hertz is just the unit of measurement you use for frequency. Let's see. Yeah, and it's real simple to keep figured out and stuff like that as far as that heater's concerned. It's nothing. You just got to remember it's 0.022 milliliters. And whatever your hertz is how many times a second that it's pumping. So, yeah, I don't have problems with that. That stuff I'm good on. I don't know why, but every time I try to learn the antenna stuff for like ham radio, I don't know what the hell happens to my head, but my brain just shuts off. But here's the thing. I don't learn nearly as good by reading as if somebody's standing there showing me something and I can ask questions. If I have the ability to ask questions, which you can't do with a book or a website or a video, if I have the ability to ask questions, I will grasp it in no time flat, because I understand that one of the most important things you can do in life is know the right questions to ask. So I typically have a pretty good grasp on things, and I know what questions I need to ask in order for me to figure it out in my strange backwards thinking head, and be able to remember it and apply it. So it's kind of weird. I have to a lot of things I have to learn differently than what most people would, and I'm a very, very hands-on person. Oh, let's see. Like I said, I got a couple here. I'm going to take this thing off real quick. 1 second. Yikes, man, that was killing me. Alright. Like I said, I've got a couple articles up. Get my mic back in the... I'm breaking stuff now. I don't know what popped. Something did. I'll deal with that later. There's like a... Oh, it reminds me of like a hair tie, but a little bungee type of cord that holds the shock mount for the mic. Anyway, one of them came out and it'd make a bunch of noise if I try to fix it, so. Oh, let's see. And yeah, I could just turn the mic down and fix it, but I don't care. Got a couple couple of things up here. Again, not much. Drone attack on another Russian airfield, says governor. Says here an airfield in the city of Kursk has been targeted in a drone attack, according to the governor of the southwestern Russian region. The strike comes the day after two bases in Ryazan and Saratov regions were targeted with similar weapons. Kursk is close to Ukraine, but Ryazan and Saratov are deeper inside Russia, with the latter located some 700 kilometers from the frontier. As a result of a drone attack, an oil storage tank caught fire in the area of Kursk airfield. The fire is being localized. All emergency agencies are on site. Kursk Region Governor Roman Starovoit said in a telegram post on Tuesday morning around 7:20 a.m. local time. There were no casualties, according to the preliminary information shared by the governor. On Monday, a number of Soviet-made jet drones flying at low altitude targeted long-range strategic aviation assets at the, Dyagilevo airfield in Ryazan region and Ingles airfield in Saratov region, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. Military said the unmanned vehicles were detected and shot down by air defenses, but noted the debris impacted the airfield slightly, damaging two aircraft. 3 service members were fatally injured, while 4 more were taken to military hospitals for treatment. So, the situation is still ongoing there. I have a feeling, though, that Russia still hasn't made their big strike back. I think there's going to be a considerable strike back, and I think it's imminent. I think it's going to be very, very soon. And I think it's going to leave a mark. I think it's going to be a hell of an attack. And we'll see. We'll see. But I really do think that that's right around the corner. Hang on, sip of coffee. So we often hear about folks screaming about human rights and stuff like that. And it's always been kind of humorous to me as far as the United States is concerned, because they've always been kind of pick and choose as to what humanitarian rights they want to defend. And many times, it's oddly enough, they'll tell other countries that they're not supposed to be doing things to their citizens that they're doing to us. But I digress. Heater shutting off. You can hear it. When the glow plug comes back on when it's cooling down, and it just cleans all the diesel fuel off the glow plug. And then when that glow plug shuts off, you'll hear the fan bump up a little bit, and that's how I know what's going on. Or I could click my handy dandy little remote here, and it will say off. Anyway, they've always been really pick and choose as to what causes they feel that they need to defend. And, I think that imprisoning people for nothing offenses is definitely a humanitarian issue. And I want to talk about, I think it's Indonesia did this. Let me double check, because originally I thought it was something else. And then, Indonesia. Check this out. World's thirdest. Thirdest? Okay, so from now on, anytime that I need to say third largest, I'm just going to say thirdest. Just remember that. From now on, it's thirdest. World's third largest democracy outlaws premarital sex. Hey, man, it ain't going to take me much longer. I'm going to be up there with Joe Biden. Let's see. Oh, hooker. Gotta deal with a hooker in chat. Bye, hooker in chat. Bye. I didn't get to see your, but, the Watchman News at yahoo.com? No, I'm kidding. Now I'll get all kinds of boner pill ads in my email. Let's see. premarital sex in Indonesia will be, maybe that's why they came in, because I'm targeting it. Premarital sex in Indonesia will be punishable by up to 1 year prison sentence after lawmakers passed a massive overhaul of the country's criminal code on Tuesday, despite protests from the human rights campaigners. The new legislation, which will come into effect in 3 years' time, will apply to both Indonesian nationals and visiting foreigners alike. That means keep your zippers up. It bans all sexual relations outside of marriage and also prohibits unmarried couples from living together, which would be punishable by 6 months behind bars. This is going to get funny. However, according to a copy of the amended criminal code seen by the Associated Press, only close relatives, including a spouse, parent, or child, will be able to raise such complaints with the authorities. So let me get this right. If I went with a lady, or met a lady, whatever, in Indonesia, well, no, let's say I went with one. That's the only way it really works well. Let's say I went with a lady. We're going to take a vacation in Indonesia, I guess. And, well, we have premarital sex in the motel room, hotel room, whatever they call them in Indonesia. Probably got Airbnbs by now. And so if the only ones that can turn us in would be our close relatives, spouse, parent, child, do I really need to worry about my mom calling up the Indonesian government and saying, I think my son was over there in that Motel 6, and I'll tell you what, he's with that floozy again, and I told him that he couldn't come back around here with that floozy, so he flew to Indonesia so he could have sex with her. They're in Motel 6. And next thing I know, I'm in Indonesian prison for the next 30 years for flogging Molly. I don't know, but it doesn't sound good. I probably need better drugs. That's what it is. I need better drugs. I mean, seriously, though. I would think that nations need to kind of stand up and say, hey, man, I mean, really? I get it. I support the right to be abstinent. Of course I support that. Absolutely. But I have a hard time supporting throwing people behind bars that choose not to be. In my opinion, that's between them and their morals and their God. I'm pretty sure that the Father's not going to strike me to hell for having premarital sex. I'm pretty sure of it. Now, I'm not saying that he doesn't care, but I'm just saying in the whole scheme of things, and with the rest of my heart, I don't think he's going to pick that reason to rake my ass over the coals. In fact, I would think if he does rake my ass over the coals, there's a whole host of reasons far beyond premarital sex that he's going to be raking me for. So, but I'm pretty confident he's not going to be raking me, so, because he's awesome. Oh, man. This right here, it would get banned in Indonesia because it's almost as good as sex. So they would be like, you can't. Sorry. We heard you moan a little bit too, motivated. So, put the mod down, sir. Over my dead body. Oh. I'm telling you, it's the bad drugs. You guys, I need better drugs. Some shrooms. There we go. I'll do the news on shrooms. How's that? No, I couldn't do that again. I could not do that again. Okay. I do have some headlines. I'm not in a hurry tonight. I didn't have a lot up. I went through the stuff and I'm just like, meh. There's a lot of meh stuff in here. So, kind of a slow day. So, which is a bit odd. But, we'll see. We'll see how the next 24 pans out. Still at a loss on this whole strike from YouTube. Just doesn't make sense. That video wasn't anything about debating the election. Not whatsoever. That's crazy. Crazy. I would tell other channels, though, be careful, because if they're going to nail me for that, holy cow. Let's see. I guess it's her computer right here now. This thing should be on standby. Yep. Huh. Fun times. And I'd certainly make sure that everybody has alternative form of heating. I really do think that we're going to see some huge problems this year. Really do. Okay, let's run through some headlines. Bolton Mall's presidential run to stop Trump. Yeah, okay. There's only one person that I think would beat Trump in the primaries, and that's DeSantis. And I think DeSantis has a fairly good chance of it. I really do. Turkish inflation shows signs of cooling off. Russia-China energy project reaches milestone. EU state closes liberal Russian TV channel. By the way, did anybody, you were the only one here, I think, Aaron the Fixer Dad in the beginning. Did you call out who I am? Well, I tried imitating. Oh, he did? Oh, well, that sucks. Well, if you're as old or older than me, I very started out tonight's show with something from a TV show. And you get extra points if you figure it out. If you know what it is. I suck at it, by the way. But those that know. Let's see. Where were we? EU state closes liberal Russian TV channel. Hungary tells EU why anti-Russia sanctions should be canceled. North Korea responds to drills involving the U.S. Ankara reiterates demands to NATO aspirants. Or aspirins, whatever. Maybe they don't like ibuprofen. China makes atomic accusation against the U.S. Let's see. Russian oil shipments to Europe dwindling, says Bloomberg. EU country refuses to train Ukrainian troops. India defends Russian oil purchases. Kremlin reacts to ban of liberal TV Doves HD or something in Latvia. A business center and market targeted amid Kiev's attack on Donetsk. EU to station border agents on foreign soil. Russia gives update on Ukrainian combat losses. Migrants speak of hell on earth near Paris. I don't know if it's Louvre. I don't know. Potato. EU postpones vote on Ukraine aid amid bloc members' opposition. UK faces decade of lost growth, says a report. Russia orders replacement for Apple and Google Pay, says media. Pope John Paul II covered up child abuse as bishop, says Dutch author. Is anybody surprised? World will still need Russian oil, says official. Kremlin addresses mobilization rumors. The U.S. wants Ukraine to keep fighting, says Blinken. Moscow accuses Ukraine of nuclear terrorism. Most citizens of European state believe it's run from abroad, says a poll. A third largest democracy outlaws premarital sex. Oh, I read that article. Hungary raises alarm over critical situation with fuel supply. Ukraine trying to drag U.S. into war, says ex-CIA officer. Turkey says NATO applicant has not honored its demands. Trump's porn star saga lawyer is sentenced. Oh, Hexafus got it. See, even with my absolutely horrible impersonation, if you'd heard it, you'd know it. Except I didn't have the price tag hanging from my hat or nothing. Let's see. The theme, the intro for the show was playing when I thought of it. And I was like, damn it. And I thought about the whole price tag thing, but there was nothing I could do in that amount of time. Yep, Mini Pearl, yep. Let's see. Taiwan is more important than Ukraine, says U.S. Senator. American support for Ukraine war effort waning, says poll. Yeah, my dad watched every time it was on, man. That's what the TV was on, the Grand Ole Opry. And I think there was another show that he watched too that was a music show, country music show, but I can't remember which one it was. But yep, he loved the Grand Ole Opry, and it didn't matter if us kids didn't. Let's see. American support for Ukraine war effort is waning, says a poll. Ukrainian court rules SS division symbols are not Nazi. They're not Nazi. They're not Nazi either. Russia responds to Macron's security guarantees offer. Hee-haw. Duh. Yeah, and Benny Hill. Yeah, of course, Benny Hill. Benny Hill is like, that's the best. Dad actually let me. He wouldn't let me watch MASH, right? I couldn't watch MASH. Not that I was really interested in it anyway, but we weren't allowed to watch MASH. But he sure the hell put Benny Hill on. Oh, man. I miss those days. I really do. I'm not talking about the days of digging through Dad's 55-gallon drum of Playboys in the garage. Not those days. But continuing on. U.S. Army chooses replacement for Apache and Black Hawk helicopters. He did. He had like 2 cardboard 55-gallon drums filled. And they weren't all Playboy. They were Hustler and anything you could think of in that thing. Let's see. Fire breaks out at Malaysian ministry as corruption probe begins. Argentina convicts vice president of corruption. Donetsk mourns politician killed in Ukrainian attack. Cult leader had 20 wives, including minors, says media. It wasn't me. Let's see. No, it's actually hang on. It was a I wanted to get the wording right. A fundamentalist Mormon is what he was. Pretty crazy. I would say he was fundamentally fucked up. Pardon the language. Saxo Bank releases its outrageous predictions for 2023. Musk fires FBI-linked Twitter executive. Biden has more important things to do than visit the border. You know, like eat ice cream and take a dump in his pants, you know? I mean, make up new words. I mean, he's got a lot of stuff to do. U.S. lawmakers look to repeal Pentagon vaccine mandate. Jury finds Trump companies guilty on criminal charges. And lastly, U.S. issues denials after Ukraine strikes inside Russia. So, they say Washington neither encouraged nor enabled long-range attacks, but won't prevent Kiev from launching them. Oh, so now we went from we're not going to give them these, and then we went to, well, we did give them these, but we made it to where they couldn't use these like these. And then now they got these, and they're doing that. They're like, well, we didn't tell them how to do that with these without these. You know what I mean? Following? Well, if you're not following me, then you understand why I'm not following the government. Because this is insane. This is insane. I mean, they used to at least try to make it look like they weren't just kicking the line forward. You know what I mean? But now anymore, well, yeah, you know, hell with it. Wondering when we're going to start sending them F-22s. That'd piss me off. Insane. Absolutely out of control. All right. I think that pretty much covers it. I don't know of anything else to cover. Yeah. Might get in there and get a little bit of early rest. Maybe. I've been doing better now that me and Blue's got her Benadryl back. She's doing better with her itching, and I'm at least able to fall asleep before 4 hours of tossing and turning. So now I've cut it down to about 2 hours of tossing and turning, and believe me, that is a huge difference. If I can fall asleep around 11:30, midnight, maybe 12:30, that's a lot better than staring at that clock at 2 a.m. going, damn. It is what it is. But anyway, I am going to get out of here. God willing, I'll be back tomorrow night. Still here. Monday night will probably be the first night that I can go back to the normal channel. So anyway, I am out of here. God willing, we'll see you tomorrow. I hope you all have a good night. Thank you for coming. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.